Snyder Hockett. This is my grandfather, Donald Snyder, and this is part one of interviewing a great man, patriarch of the family.
Not the matriarch.
Not the matriarch, the patriarch. Clear distinction. So let's see, we were just talking about you in third grade went to live with your grandparents.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
It was my grandmother's third husband, actually.
Oh, really?
So, and I thought I was going for a few days, and I found out that I wasn't in on the plan. It was I was supposed to stay.
Yeah.
It took me a while to catch on to it. It was World War II. I was in the third grade at that time.
So when your parents were going out to bars and you would come home by yourself and then...
No, I never came, no.
After the movies?
I came with them, but when I got a little older, I could go to the, in Terre Haute, the Savoy movie was a block away, and the Fountain was a block and a half away. Mm-hmm. And for 50 cents, they had a babysitter for, and so they were out of their hair for a while. And the only instruction I had was make sure I came straight home afterwards, which I did. I had no place else to go.
And you kept going to school, right?
Yeah.
Is like what made you want to keep going to school?
What?
Did they get you get you ready in the morning, or did you just do that on your own, or?
I pretty much was on my own. I think in the first grade we didn't have kindergarten then. In the first grade, my mother would walk with me most of the way to school, which was about 10 blocks. And then she would sometimes come to pick me up. So I got embarrassed by that. So instead of going back on 3rd Street, I cut over to 4th Street and went straight home. And after that, she didn't bother with trying to...
You wanted to walk on your own?
Yeah.
Were you just really independent, or?
I had to be.
Yeah.
Really had to be. You know, that with 17, 18-year-old parents who,
yeah.
You know, that they were learning how to live with the kid themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were having marital troubles and blah, 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 which was part of the reason I ended up with my grandma and Rover Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
That was her 3rd husband. And you know what happened to her 1st husband?
No.
He was murdered.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You never knew that?
I didn't know.
Yeah, he was murdered.
That wasn't Bierce, was it?
Yes.
Oh, what? Oh, okay.
John Bierce. He was.
Yeah.
He went drinking with his buddies and came back to the house, and something ensued, and he was somebody slit his throat.
Wow.
So that I never really ever had a grandfather, so I don't know what grandfathers are supposed to do.
Well, you worked that one out pretty good. So did you enjoy school at that age? You've done
Well,
a lot
where
of
I was
school
living,
in
there
your life.
weren't any other kids around. And, you know, on weekends I might see my cousins and things like that. But school was kind of fun for me because I got to play with other kids and do things that, you know, whether anybody had to share that with where we were living. So.
What was your favorite thing to do?
Go to
as
movies.
a boy? Movies?
go to movies.
Did you have something you liked doing with the other kids? Like any kind of sport or?
I wasn't very good at sports. I wasn't a great athlete. I could shoot a basketball very well, I would say, but not if somebody was standing in front of me, or if I had to catch it, because I was so nearsighted I didn't see the ball until it got right on top of me. So, but no, I wasn't athletic.
So that started your love of movies then, probably?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. And when I met Pam, that was something that we kind of shared almost immediately. So that was, I remember we went to see First Date. I took her to see that African movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy. That was our first date.
Yeah.
And I figured if she survived that, then, you know, we had something going.
So what made you decide to join the military? What made you decide to join the military?
I was 17, I was unemployed, and I was living with my grandmother. She was a waitress. My dad was drinking heavy at the time, and it wasn't really. I was I was very dependent, and so I joined the Army for economic reasons and social reasons.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you probably liked being independent too. Anyway, kind of getting off on your own.
You're not often your own. You're with a bunch of strangers,
Oh, really?
and you have to, and
follow
you have a lot of
orders.
people giving you rules and instructions that you'd never heard of before. But once I got through basic training, it was pretty good because they sent me to psychiatric technician school in Texas.
Because you're so smart.
I don't know about that, but that's the school they eventually sent me to.
Yeah.
So that kind of, then I worked in the military, psychiatric wards for most of the time I was in the service, and that was kind of in the back of my mind, so that kind of influenced the kind of work I ended up in eventually.
Were you in Hawaii right away, or were you in Hawaii right away, or are you?
No,
you go to
we
other
had to
places?
do basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Then the training was in Texas and San Antonio at Brooke Army Medical Center. Then had advanced training at Fitzsimmons Army Hospital in Denver, and then I went to Tripler Army Hospital in Hawaii for the next 2 years. I enlisted for 2 years, and the Korean War started, and they extended everybody's enlistment a year.
So you're in a total of 3 years?
Well, 2 years, 10 months, and so many days. I enlisted in August, and I got in June.
But you never, was there a chance you could have gotten sent to Korea, or?
There was a chance, it never happened, and I never volunteered. I didn't want people shooting at me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people did volunteer to go, and we got very, very short-handed at the hospital. And so we would work 12 hours one day and 18 hours the next day. And that went on for several months. It's just like you didn't, you know, you didn't have any leisure time at all. I think once every 2 weeks you got like, once every 2 weeks you get 48 hours work off, but you would like get off on noon on Saturday. You'd have Sunday off and you came back to work at 12 o'clock on Monday. So you only really had one day that you're really off. And that came around, I think, every 2 weeks. Other than that, it was 12, 18 all the time. So it kind of a difficult time, and it just never worked so hard in my life. It wasn't really physical labor, but you got very, you know, it was just putting in the hours.
Did you have something you really like to do while you're in Hawaii on your one day off?
Well, your grandmother came over, so but that was over. That schedule was over, and we spent time together. We had friends, and it was you know, she spent a lot of time at the beach, and she made friends, and I was working a lot. But, it worked out. We finally came home.
You guys were married already?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We decided to get married. We were both 18, and we got married just before I had to report for assignment, and I didn't know whether I was going to Japan or Okinawa or Europe or anything. We'd be apart for a long time, so we decided that we would make a commitment. We didn't want to lose each other.
What